Good morning. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. You're supercharged when you took my heart, baby. The way you love is so energizing. Yeah, you're never going to get that one. I am, as just previously said, Jay Cleveland Payne. This is things you might not have heard for Friday, February the 4th, 2022. Hopefully, all the chyrons, all the pages, all the slides will have the right date on it. This is the final day of the week and the final day of the almost first full week of February, 4 days in. So hopefully you're having a great February. This is Armageddon Day 2, Snow Ice Day 2. There's your clue for the song there. And we're going to go through another full day stuff from yesterday of things that you can talk about if you can make it out into the ice and snow going on today and maybe for the weekend. Now, what this thing comes from is a long standing program where we ask you to tell us what news stories are the most conversational. These are stories that people will want to talk about that aren't necessarily the most important stories. They're not the top stories. They're not what I call Chiron stories, stories that are breaking on Tuesday and still breaking on Thursday afternoon because there's no change, but they're kind of important. We don't call ourselves your first source of news. We call ourselves your side piece of news. And you can take that any way you want to. We're not going to be your main source. We're going to be the one you come to when you really, 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 really want to have some fun. Let's leave it like that. More information on how you can help things along here for the program. But first, I want to remind you that you can always put a little couple bucks into the cup at buymeacoffee.com/Jay Cleveland Payne. And for the price of a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a bottle of water, a rack of ribs, a side of mashed potatoes, however you want to call it, you will help fund the activities here for the Conversation Project and for More Better Media, the greater umbrella of the stuff I'm doing. And if you like it, just reach out to me. You can reach out to us up there. You can see the at symbols on the Twitter where you can find us as well. More ways on how to reach out to us and how to get a part of the show in just a moment. So let's get into the actual show and talk about some news stories for yesterday to talk about today. Becky Holt, Britain's most tattooed woman, forced to return to OnlyFans to pay for new home. Meow.com, which, yes, is an actual website and a pretty good source of news, believe it or not, is our source for this one. And this is the one that you guys actually voted up as the top story, most engaging story for the day. I'm not sure because maybe it's OnlyFans, maybe it's tattoos, maybe it's British women, but this is the story as it goes. Now, Becky Holt was once on OnlyFans and then had a baby. So, she did what most mothers do when they have babies. They stop doing OnlyFans videos. But now that she's back into sorts and back in the swing of things and everything is more or less okay, she's realizing that, the money is not coming like it is. So she returned to OnlyFans so she can pay for her new home and take care of her family. And apparently, I'm not sure if it's just the Brits, but everyone around is all in love and all a gaga with Becky Holt returning back to OnlyFans, showing off many, many, many tattoos. And yeah, this was a top story you guys put into the top. That's why we're talking about Becky Holt. Now we go into what I'm calling today's axis of evil. Three guys who some people aren't so fond of right now, doing things that continue to make them not fond of. First up is Dan Snyder. As former employees and cheerleaders share new allegations against NFL team owner Dan Snyder. CNN.com is our source of this one, and CNN probably throwing a little shade to get themselves out of some issues right now. But this is a story that essentially is a continuation of everything Dan Snyder basically does, and that is sort of be a jerk. Number one, he just renamed his football team the worst football name in the history of football names that was not a Native American name. Number two, more people coming out of woodwork are accusing him of sexual harassment and other types of harassment and other just bad boss stuff. We're going to see what comes about of these current allegations, whether they are, I won't say it's substantiated, so we should throw the allegedly out there. Whether they turn into actual suits, whether they turn to actual changes in the actual way things are done, and most importantly, whether it's big enough for the NFL to intervene and take Dan Snyder out of the equation. The answer to that final question is too much money and no. There you go. Let's talk about yourself and how you can basically improve on what you have going on. Now, Grammarly may not seem like the most forward program to get a better life, but think about this. Most of what you do in these days. If you're a person, you're literally watching this thing on the internet right now. You're probably a computer person doing things on computers. You're writing emails, you're writing memos and letters. You're writing things as in the great American novel. Grammarly can help you with all those tasks. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/Grammarly. This is a program, an app, a service, will that first time I stumbled upon it and was a bit, let's say, apprehensive about the price. It basically has paid for itself pretty much instantly ever since. It's something I've been using for years. Grammarly will check your grammar. It'll check your spelling. It will make sure that all your writing is compliant to whatever convention you're using. If you're in college writing on APA papers, it will check those things. It'll check for plagiarism. It'll check to see what's in there. So if you're either writing papers or grading papers, you can see if quotes seem to be reused and be plagiarized and sources where they come from. Most importantly, Grammarly will integrate with pretty much all of your software systems, your Microsoft Word or your other alternative word processors inside your browser. Once you sign into Grammarly and get yourself going, you will find that Grammarly will take over your computer. It will take over your life, take over your writing, and you'll be better for it. Check out this is a conversationproject.com/Grammarly and get your grammar better and talk better, write better, have more pretty words come out thanks to the magic of Grammarly. This is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit of cut from this one. So it's not going to cost you anything extra, but you're going to fall in love with Grammarly. You're going to look at the price and say, and then you're going to fall in love with the product immediately for Grammarly. Axis of Evil person number 2, Dutch bridge to be dismantled to make way for Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' $450 million yacht. FoxBusiness.com is there. And of course, Fox Business usually doesn't beat up on Jeff Bezos, except they kind of do it for Donald Trump, I guess. But Jeff Bezos, more or less richest person in the world on any given day, is having a super yacht built, a super yacht. And by super yacht, essentially it's an big old oil tanker that's being turned into a skyscraper on the water. It's really large. It's huge. It's humongous. It's probably worth the money to him since he's got all this money, but it's probably not worth all the effort because unless he's really going Dr. Evil, who's living on this big super yacht. Here's the problem. It was being built in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, and because they build good ships there. It's built in this ship making factory inside of town because they do good work there. The problem is the boat too damn big to get out of the town. There's this historic bridge that can be raised up so they can kind of get things out, but the masts on this ship are so high and it's so wide, it's a tight fit anyway, that right now the plan is to dismantle an historic bridge to drive Mr. Bezos' yacht out and then put it back together. Right now, if they can get it approved, Jeff Bezos and the company are going to foot the bill for taking the bridge apart, putting it back together. This is probably a bit more first world than it ought to be because we probably shouldn't be tearing things down. So yeah, chances of us digging up the Statue of Liberty to get a cruise ship into the New York harbor is probably low. But in actuality, it's one of those things where you go, well, it's just a bridge and they're going to put it back together and they'll probably make it better. So they can take on that one. And the city itself is saying, we need the money because we build ships. And so we need to advertise and build more ships here, even if it does mean dismantling a landmark for a while. As you can tell, because people aren't so happy about taking down landmarks, we're seeing that here, even ones that are axis of evil landmarks. It brings out the worst in some folks. All right, let's go to our final axis of evil, folks. And not so much evil, just a little weird. This is Nick Cannon. Yesterday, we teased this story about Nick Cannon saying his celibacy journey began after conceiving his 8th child, and you guys decided it was in range to talk about. So let's talk about it one more time. News.yahoo.com is our source for this one, but this one was also all over the places again about Nick Cannon. Now, let's go deeper into the actual story. What Nick Cannon found when his heart grew three sizes that day was that he announced his 8th baby with another woman. And of course, as we said, when we talked about that, it wasn't, his girlfriend, it was Johnny Manziel's ex-girlfriend and Nick Cannon's at the gender reveal, and it's a boy. So all that craziness, confusion turned into, a lot of hype for for Nick Cannon. But then he realized all his other baby mamas thought it was kind of rude and crass. He hurt their feelings. He just was just being an idiot. And and while he has the money to take care of all of his children, it is something to be said to go off and have another child with somebody else and take away some extra time. Now that time is split 8 ways or 7 ways if the twins count as one group of time. And so that's another set of people that he has to spend his time with away from his other children, his other families, if you will, his other the other mothers of his children. Nick Cannon coming to this conclusion and realizing that now he's out of control. So now he's going to work on celibacy. It's Nick Cannon. What do you do? What do you know? I guess. So yeah, Big O. Yeah, Nick Cannon, number 8 is on the way. And like I said, it's with Johnny Manziel's ex. And that's how it was presented. He's having Johnny Manziel's ex is having a baby, and Nick Cannon is there, so we're assuming it's his. One more quick stop into the ad world, and that is going with Blinkist. This is the conversationproject.com/Blinkist. And what you get from Blinkist, this app is a way for you to catch up on all the reading, all the books, all the words that you love. If you are a person who has a hard time reading and a hard time keeping up with great books that people are saying you should read, Blinkist will fix that. Yes, it will fix that. You can get all the great nonfiction and autobiographies coming up, and you don't have to read through them or literally pay like $80 for Obama's book. No, you don't have to do that. You pay the price for the app, and you get a discount 7 days of the full version of the app free by using this code from this link, and you can listen to or read all the books you want to for that price. Now, you don't get to read the whole 8,000 page Obama book. What it does is it breaks down all of the main points of the book, all the main topics, into short little paragraphs, short little pieces called blinks, they call them. And not only can you read them, you can listen to them. So if you have trouble reading the books, you really have trouble reading, or you're working a lot and you can't stop to read, or you're driving a lot of places, you can pull them up and listen to them as audiobooks. They also have shortcasts, which are shortened versions of popular podcasts, and a cool thing where they will read you a story and read you to sleep. They have sleepy time stories, which are longer than the 15 minutes because some people need a little more time to fall asleep, but they are very slow paced and very informative things, mostly biographies and different types of stuff that you want to know anyway. And you can get a chance of picking them up with the Blinkist app. So go to thisisaconversation.com. This is conversationproject.com/Blinkist. Still getting caught on that one. This is conversationproject.com/Blinkist, and you will see what we see as this great app that I use. I listen to a book in the morning. I listen to a book in the evening. And as time allots, I get a couple in there. So yes, I read 2 books a day using Blinkist. You can do that as well. And finally, our final story we're going to pop into there is one that may make us all happy if we're living in Mississippi. So for the first time, not the first time, but for one of the few times, Mississippi is not the first at being bad at something or the last at being good at something. They're somewhere in the middle. Mississippi becomes the 37th U.S. state to legalize medical marijuana. Recreational, not quite there yet, but medical marijuana is now legal. What this means is if you can get a prescription and you live in Mississippi or really, really, really close, you can get a chance to take a few tokes to relieve some of those pains and aches and whatever you have. Reuters, the source for this one, but this is one that's going to kind of blow over, pun intended, for a while, because that means if there's 37 states that do have medical marijuana, and we're not talking about recreational, just medical marijuana, 13 states are behind the 8 ball, if you will. So until medical marijuana or marijuana in general is sort of non-frowned upon on the bulk of the states, I guess 37 is more of a bulk if you want to say that way, they're still going to have issues with the federal laws. Remember, it's still federal crime, even if it's a state allows it. So there's wishy-washy details between that. Plus, you have to actually have an actual prescription from an legal doctor for the medical stuff. Otherwise, you can't just say, I grow my own Tylenol, or I drink bourbon for the pain, which you could do. I guess you can't grow Tylenol. Making acetaminophen would probably be a crime. But having a couple of pot plants in your yard for your medical purposes, yeah, you're gonna have to have a doctor's note for that one. That's going on. So we're teasing stories, and of course, today is Friday, so we're going into a weekend. So there's plenty of time to get plenty of stories up. But the story we have right out now that's going to cause quite a kerfuffle is this one. We're pulling from Fox News. It actually published about a few minutes before we actually posted, started beginning the broadcast. So it's out there now. Noam signs bill banning transgender participation in girls' sports, which is exactly what it says. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem signed a bill that will ban transgender female athletes from participating in girls' or women's school sports. This is nothing new, and I'm not sure what a number of states have done this, but many states, more than a handful of states, are officially putting the smackdown on transgender sports, more effectively keeping boys and men who are now girls and women from playing in female type sports. There's a lot of issues against it. There's a lot of issues for it. It's kind of a wishy-washy thing. My personal opinion. It's all sort of weird. I don't want to get into it, but it does have some actual. There are some actual reasons for weighing these things down. Unfortunately, most of the reasons that are being dropped down are just essentially because, girls that used to be boys are icky. Essentially, that's what it boils down to. It turns into issues on bathrooms, which is not the real issue, but we'll see how this thing plays out. Kristi Noem is one of the, let's call her a Trump disciple, if you will, one of the people that really are following along in the key things that Donald Trump was doing. And so we'll see if this is going to help springboard her towards a national platform. A lot of Republicans who are springing forth on national platforms are jumping into the transgender thing, and I have no idea why. But that is something to look out for. If this is something you want to talk about come Monday, look for the story, engage in it on our platforms, and you can have your say in that one. And more ways to have your say, or how to get into the gear, all this stuff. Let's do that one right now. Let's go ahead and go to that right now. What you do is, to find out more about the Conversation Project, you go to thisistheconversationproject.com, the website that says what the Conversation Project is about, and doesn't actually talk about things you might not have heard because we've not quite had a chance to update it yet. But we're going to get there. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/JClevelandPayne, and for the cost of a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a rack of ribs, a side of peas, some mac and cheese, whatever, a quick slight donation will help keep things going, keeps us caffeinated and definitely hydrated. Also, more importantly, actually pay some of the bills to keep things going. If you like what's going on here at things you might not have heard, whether you're checking out live or in the replay, thank you so much. Think about possibly dropping a donation, or maybe even a subscription. There will be some bonuses coming very soon once we work out some more kinks of this program. And the feeds I talked about, facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project, and twitter.com/th_conversation. Those are our feeds on social media. Follow them and you will see the stories like the Kristi Noem story. And as you check your feed, check your Facebook, and pop in there every so often. Make sure you put us so we can be there a lot. Make sure highlight that we are friends, because we are friends. Like them, love them, hate them, share the stories with other folks. The more engagement that you give to the story, the greater the chance it gets to be into top 15. Now, come Monday, we're going to go through 3.5 days worth of stuff from Friday to early Monday morning. So there's a lot to choose from, about 93 to 98 stories in the big swath. From Tuesday through Friday, it's about 30 to 33 stories. So there's less stories, but we pick from the top 15 stories that you choose are most engaging. We put them in a spreadsheet. It does the numbers, it puts them in top 15. And then we pick 5 of those. Sometimes we cheat and pick 6 and let you know which stories are more conversational, and not necessarily what Wolf Blitzer is going to cover at 6 o'clock, because he's busy with the Russia thing, which is important. But, we still need to talk about Nick Cannon. Yes, we got to have some discussions about Nick Cannon. So the song tease for the day, which I knew you don't want to get, comes from the song Electric Boogaloo by Ollie and Jerry, comes from, of course, the movie Breaking 2. Electric Boogaloo, because this is, snow day 2 and Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I told you it was horrible, but I just had to get that in there. Today has been things you have not heard, or something like that. Today still is February the 4th, 2022, Friday that it is. Have a great Friday. Have a great day. No matter where you are and what's going on, we appreciate the time and effort that you do being you, and the time and effort you do putting us in here. So, of course, as I often say and forget to say here, make sure you stay a lot hydrated and stay limber and stay on task, because we've got a long way to go. Thank you for those who popped in for the live today, and thank you for all you guys who are popping in, checking us out in replay mode. I know it takes a while to get out there. I'm working on that. It's an algorithm thing. Send your feedback to Jay at J Cleveland Payne. Send your comments there as well. We take the good, we take the bad, we take the ugly, and with the lighting situation, we got that going on. I'm out. We'll talk to you Monday morning.